Hi, JB. How are
Hey,
you?
I'm doing well, Shane. How about you?
I'm doing well. We are back for another Wednesday live stream where we are answering all of the questions our customers and other shop owners have to ask us.
You know what's crazy is like everyone looks forward to Wednesday because it's hump day. I
hmm
look forward to it because we can give people information they can use.
Absolutely. And, one of the biggest things that a lot of customers have been talking to us about is how they keep their customers coming back to their shop.
Yeah, that's a really big thing. And you know what? A lot of guys, a lot of people that are running shops, and I should say the ladies too,
Sure.
may never have even thought that, you know what, part of what you need to do to make your business successful is keep your customers. You got to get customers because ultimately they are your business.
Absolutely.
And now you might be at a point where you're having trouble getting cars in, or you might be losing people or something like that. You need to know how important it is to keep those people.
Sure. I mean, we already know that it takes a lot of hard work and a lot of effort to get cars into your bay. So once they're there, you want to make sure that they're coming back. And, one, there's a lot of competition around. Two, people are busy, people forget. And three, you want to be able to build relationships so you can build trust. That way they're willing to listen to you when you have recommendations and you're recommending specific services or, trying to educate them on their vehicle. It's hard to build and establish that trust when they're only at your shop for one time.
Yeah, and you also have to remember if a customer's at your shop just once, you have to do an awful lot of other stuff just to get them in your computer, to deal with their car, check up everything that they have going on. I mean, that first visit's always a big one. So you're going to spend a lot of physical time with that customer. So it is kind of important to try to get them back so you're making that worth your time.
Sure. And when we're talking about how much it costs to acquire a new customer, what is the difference between, customers that keep coming back to your shop and customers that you want to bring in that are new in your community?
Well, there's a statistic that says it costs you 5 times more to get a new customer than to keep one. That's 5 times. So think about that. You're going to work really hard to get that new customer in here, but now once you get them in, how are you going to capture them? How are you going to keep them?
Exactly. And, establishing that trust, one of the statistics that you actually presented in your webinar with Elite Worldwide yesterday, we just posted a link that if you're interested in more information about that, you can register to see the recording of JB's webinar. But I remember one of the things that really stuck out in my mind was that customers that are repeat customers for your business, they're actually 65% more likely to purchase a recommended service compared to new customers where it hovers around 10%.
Yeah, I mean, they're again, 5 times more to get a new customer, and then when you get them in the door, you only have a 10% chance of selling to them. Why? Because there's no trust. And just like you said a few moments ago, when you have a customer in, you have a 65% chance of selling to them because they trust you. You're building that relationship.
Okay. So, all right. So we know that we want to have customers coming back to the shop. But how do shops get them to come back?
Yeah.
That's the question. That's what you're all here to watch.
And it's one of those things that it's just so simple, and all of us know it. You probably get your hair done on a regular basis. Do you ever walk out of there without knowing when the next time is?
No. I make sure my appointment's scheduled, months in advance.
Yeah. And, when I go to the dentist, even though I'm standing there slobbering and pain and all that stuff, what are they going to be doing to me? They're going to be giving me my next appointment. And in both circumstances, don't they tell you, hey, you're going to need your highlights redone or you're going to need your teeth x-rayed? They're preparing you for the next visit. That's what we got to do.
And come to think of it, it's actually extremely difficult to leave those places without having an appointment booked. It's just such a norm in their industries. And why is it any different for automotive?
All we do, put a sticker in a window and say, hey, come back, please. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. So we actually have to do what the dentist and the hairdresser does and set that next appointment before a customer leaves. Not only that, set the expectation just like they do before the customer leaves.
Sure. So, I mean, what are some good ways that, shop owners can help, educate their customers, let them know what they're recommending coming down the line?
Well, I mean, that's the first point. We're at today's appointment. Mr. Customer, Mrs. Customer's here today. So we're going to do all this work today. We're going to look over the car, probably do an inspection, hopefully a digital one. And when we do all that, we're going to have measurements and all sorts of things that we can share with the customer. We're going to tell the customer, hey, this is what we recommend you get done today. This is something that you can consider, and then this is all good.
Sure.
So what we need to do is have that conversation, and that's the other nice thing, Shana. We can send that digital inspection with all that info to the customer, and it's on their phone, and they can look at it in the future. And when we bring them back with those recommendations that we're about to talk about, they can see the progression of the brakes or the tires or whatever it might be. There's trust being built.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to have recommendations left over from today. And those recommendations today are things that they're going to need by the OEM or just by wear and tear. If we go over those items and let the customer know that this stuff is coming up, they're one, prepared for it. Secondly, we actually have a piece of software that when we do the work on a car today, it looks at the recommendations that are required, the repeating ones. Like in Pennsylvania, we have state inspection.
Sure.
All right. So I know already about a year from now, if I do my inspection, I need another inspection.
Yeah, absolutely.
So think about this, where the software sets that inspection appointment today, and a reminder comes to me a week in advance, and you know how busy life is. I get that reminder, I'm going to go back for my inspection. So along with that, we put all these recommendations in there. And you know what? When we give a receipt to a customer, and we can do it digitally or via paper, we can actually set all those recommendations out there, and we have a little QR code that you take the camera of your smartphone and aim at it, and it's going to say, hey, this has got information for your calendar. Do you want to input it? And if you say yes, it actually takes that data, the recommendations and the dates that we expect, all that stuff, it puts it right in the customer's cell phone calendar.
Perfect.
That's big.
Mm-hmm.
And
Convenient.
Yeah, and also think about this. You're building trust when you spend some time with your customer.
Sure.
So having this conversation and setting them up for the future visits, that all is going to make it work for you.
And you know what? We've talked about customer convenience so many times in a few of our other live streams. And as a driver, I'm very busy. Just with any other industry, with any other service, I'm very busy. You forget what you have to do months down the line. And if you're not planning for it and budgeting for it, a lot of people are frustrated because they come to your shop, they're expecting to get whatever they needed at that specific time, and then they have a bunch of other services that they probably should get fixed while they're at your shop today rather than the next time that they come back.
Even worse, because your busy schedule, you missed your appointment, and you realize like a month later that, holy cow, the inspection's overdue, my oil's overdue.
Yeah.
And what do? You run to the nearest shop to get it done. So you just lost a customer because it wasn't in their head to come back.
Panic mode sets in, so they go to the closest shop that they have. Yep. And I think we've all been guilty of it before. Like, I even know as a driver, if I'm not prepared and I see those lights go on, I'm pulling over at the closest, shop that I can.
Out when you start seeing the lights go up on the dash like it's the holidays, and I start, hey, I need an oil change, and stuff like that. So if we take the time to spend just a few moments with a customer and set that next appointment, and we have things in play, we have software in play that automatically looks and sets the appointments, automatically reaches out to the customer, and now we even have an invoice that we can send to the customer digitally or give to them by paper that they can just scan and put in their phone. Don't you think the chance for that customer coming back is a lot better?
Sure, absolutely. And when you come to think about it, even taking this a step further, the customers that come into your shop, if they really never have that panic set in where things are happening to their vehicle when it's least expected, they think their car is that much better taken care of by your shop. And it's simply just preparing them for the inevitable that's going to come down. Their oil's going to go bad. They're going to need their inspection done, different things along those lines. It's nothing that every car isn't going to experience. They're just prepared for it. So it never gets to the point where they're panicked and frustrated and concerned that the work wasn't being done right the first time, because they already know they're coming back for the preventative maintenance, for the routine maintenance, and so on. You're
building that continuity, you're building that trust with the customer, and you're also doing them the favor of preparing them for the future, because it's like in the past one of these sessions, I asked, hey, do you got $300 to give me?
No.
You don't. So if you know that your brakes are due in 3 months, you have time to get it together so you have the money.
Sure.
So that's what we're trying to do, is let you know that getting your customers back, that is big in itself. Just you're not spending the money getting them. You know what? There's one figure that we didn't talk about. If you can maintain 5%, not lose 5%, retain 5% of your regular customers, your income, your actual income, could be as high as 25, 35, 45%. I think you saw a slightly different figure on that, and I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. But,
Yeah,
it's on the internet, it's got to be true. But,
sure.
but just keeping customers, it saves you in advertising, it saves you in a lot of different things, and they're more apt to buy from you. It's win, win, win.
Absolutely. And I know a lot of our customers are always like, oh, but this is going to take more time. This is going to take more effort. The conversations are going to be longer. But there's a lot of software, whether it's bolt-on technology or other softwares out there, that help you automate this process. So they help you pre-schedule the appointments, make sure your calendar's filled. So one, you have less chaos when it comes to your calendar. You have less missed appointments. And ultimately, you just know what to expect coming down your pipeline, where you're better able to forecast your business. But not only are you able to use technology to set appointments, but also to remind customers to come back.
Well, as you mentioned, there's software to do it, like the bolt-on Loop Sticker Pro. When you print today's Loop Sticker, it's going to look at all the work that was done and all the recommendations. It's going to set appointments up to maybe even 5 years in advance. Perfect. If you do struts today, we know the OEMs say 5 years, 50,000 miles, right? So if I do struts and I have that built into the software, it automatically sets that reminder to let me know that I got to check the struts that 5 years and 50,000 miles.
That's perfect.
After we do all that, Message Manager using text, which is the way people communicate today, and the average text is looked at in 90 seconds. That's a minute and a half, right?
You just caught their attention.
We use text to send out a reminder a week in advance. And here's the cool part, folks. If your customer gets that text and sends the letter C, is that right when you look at it? Anyway.
We're doing the YMCA here.
But anyway, if they respond saying they're confirming that appointment a week in advance, your shop can actually go to the parts people and say, hey, look, I need these parts next week. The parts people are going to go, hey, this is cool, because they can drop it off on another trip. And it's cool for you because you don't have a car tying up a bay waiting for the parts that you ordered today. Yeah. They're already there waiting for the car. And the last piece of software is called Report Pro. And Report Pro is where we're going to generate that invoice that we can send digitally to a customer, or we can give it to them via paper. And right on there, if we're having the conversation today about your next visit, we can have the customer scan that QR code and set that appointment in their schedule. It's on our schedule, and we have a reminder set all ready to go, all automatically. You think that customer's coming back?
I would be coming back.
Yep.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, we know that retaining your customers is going to be more profitable for your business, and ultimately you're going to earn more trust. When people are coming back to your business, they're also more likely to refer your business to other people. If they're coming back, that means they're happy, that means they're satisfied, that means you're doing a great job, and they want to share that with other people. But I think the most important thing that we have to keep in mind, while we're thinking about the next appointment, you have to be focusing on the appointment that's in your shop at that time. You can't expect a next appointment if you're not doing and providing quality work when they're in your base the first time.
Yeah, I mean, again, all this starts today. So if I have the customer in today, I got to be sure I do a pretty good job today.
Sure.
And, things may happen, but the thing is, if you have that conversation, that wrap-up conversation at the end, and you're talking about the future visit, if there was something that bothered a customer, they might let you know right there. And at that point, what happens for you is that you get a chance to fix something. So you take care of today, get them out the door, make sure everything's good to go, reset that maintenance minder, all right? And then set that next appointment, and that's what's going to help get them back. And especially since you're communicating to the customer, it's also going to put a little memory thing up here too.
Perfect. Well, as we said before, we have a link down below in the comments that's going to give you inside access to our recording of the presentation that you had yesterday, partnering with Elite Worldwide for a lot of upcoming webinars that are just going to help auto shop owners like yourselves be better prepared to bring in new business and be more profitable and ultimately run a more efficient shop. So this is one of the topics that was discussed yesterday. So if you're interested in a little bit more of an elaborate overview, make sure you check out that link below. All you need to do is provide your name and email address, and you'll have a copy of the recording.
Just one other thing on that.
Sure.
We've talked about technology and how it's going to be able to help you. If you don't move into technology, you can do all this too. But it's a lot of paperwork, it's a lot of writing, you're going to have to keep files and all that stuff. So think about this. If you're using paperwork, it might be time to move on. And when you use the software, it frees you up to have that conversation with the customer.
Absolutely.
So Think about that. I mean, get those customers back, have a much higher percentage to sell them, create a relationship. And remember, the average age of a car is 14 years. If you have a relationship with a customer for 10 years, that's a lot of money in your shop.
Absolutely.
So I would say do it.
I love it. Well, this is just another one of our Wednesday live streams. As always, we want to hear what's most important to you. What are you struggling with in your shops? What questions do you have? Make sure you leave us comments below or just reach out to us in a message, and we're going to be happy to put that on one of our upcoming segments.
Yeah, and again, remember, if there's something you feel that we can share with you, let us know what that might be. We'll do our research and come up with an answer for you.
But until next time,
Bye.
bye-bye.